Alright, everybody, welcome back to BSG Online. We're raising money for Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and to support everyone who is dealing with mental issues themselves or within their family. All your donations are going to go for them, and you can find more information about this amazing organization by typing exclamation mind in chat. Now it's time to enjoy the first of these mini Sonic block games with Subbaro, who is gonna be running Sonic Colors Ultimate. So take it away, my friend, and good luck.
Hi everyone, welcome to Sonic Colors Ultimate. I'm Subbaro, I love playing this game, I love speedrunning this game, and I love charity. So that's why we're here today, and I'm so glad to have my co-commentator Auraace with me here as well.
What's up, everyone?
So yeah, unfortunately I have been a little sick, and I've caught a bad cough, which is why there won't be much talking from my side, but I'm sure Aura will be just fine without me.
You guys are gonna have to suffer listening to me for the most part instead, so hopefully you guys can make it through.
Before we start, really quick, what is Shuttle? It's basically just New Game Plus. You have all the wisps unlocked. You have no cutscenes. Boost carries over into new stages. And yeah, we are basically just speedrunning this game. So yeah, any questions? Nope. Perfect. So let's start this run in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so yeah, Subbaro said this is a New Game Plus style run, and it's gonna have most of the differences are gonna be seen in the first 2 to 3 worlds, because by the latter half of the game, you already have most of the wisps unlocked, and it's not really gonna affect very much of the level routing. It's only just gonna be the boost routing that's gonna be very different. And the major types of skips that we're gonna see are gonna just be abusing the way that they handle switching between the 3D and 2D segments, because the 3D parts, I guess I'll explain coming up here. So he's gonna skip around the trigger that's gonna switch Sonic from 3D into 2D, and he can. There's no actual walls to keep you in the 2D segment, and you can just go straight over to the rail segment at the end. They only just lock your controls to keep you in the 2D segment. They don't actually use any other way to keep you there. So yeah, and we have a little boost to carry over into Act 2 of Tropical Resort, which does actually end up saving a decent bit of time. Oh, we're going for the big boy strat here. Okay. So that's a strat that you can only really do on 144 FPS. That rail gives you so much speed. This game actually has differences in physics depending on what frame rate you play it at, because it was originally designed for the Wii, which could only play which the only frame rate you could pick was 30. And so the remake lets you pick between quite a few FPSs, the common ones being 30, 60, and 144, and the gameplay actually changes quite a bit between the frame rates. And on PC, you can actually just pick whichever one you want, and 144 happens to be the fastest. You get the highest jump height, and a few of the other bosses and levels have some faster strats that you can do with that jump height. So yeah, we're coming up to another skip. The first few levels have quite a few big ones here. He's going to be jumping around a trigger, so now we can play this whole part in 3D. And the other thing about 3D and 2Ds being faster is that not only do they lock your controls to stay in the bounds of the level so you can't just skip loops like that, but also they just make you move slower, because it's really hard to react to things coming up to you with the sideways camera. So they just make you move slower. But when we already know where everything is, we don't need that. We can just do the 2D sections with the 3D physics, and it's really fun to do. Very clean Act 3 there. Act Shuttle is also really nice because of how short the transitions between the stages are. In any percent, you play all the same levels and bosses, but every time you have to have a results screen, go back to the map. There may be a cutscene that you have to skip. It ends up just saving a lot of time, and it's just really nice to just press A button on the results screen and bam, next stage. Especially when there are so many stages. There's 45 combined stages and bosses in this run, which is a lot for a Sonic game, which is partially because so many of them are so short, like that 13-second level we just saw. And so this stage changes a lot in Egg Shuttle because Spike you don't normally unlock until Planet Wisp, which is supposed to be over halfway through the game, but we can just use it in Tropical Resort. It doesn't save that much time, but it's nice to have. It is a really hard Wisp to control there. Subbaro got a little janked by Spike. Us speedrunners aren't huge fans of the Spike Wisp. Kind of has a mind of its own. But the spin dash is really fast. And unlike the games where it originates from, you actually don't need to... The time you take to charge a spin dash doesn't matter at all, so you can just get to top speed immediately. Act 6 is another incredibly short level. Another one where it's really nice to have boost to start with because there isn't that much boost to get. Although in New Game Plus, or in New Game, you would have the new feature, Perfect Homing Attacks, which changes the boost routing a lot. It's a new feature from the remake where if you time your homing attacks slightly late as the indicator thing goes into the blue ring, your homing attack animation gets canceled. You can act out of it instantly and you get a little bit of boost, which for stages with not that much boost changes the routing significantly. I always love that boss. Wisps are useful on basically every boss, and you can just destroy them. You kill that boss in like 5 or 6 seconds, and he spends the next 15 seconds dying. It's hilarious. There are a few bosses that end up taking more time dying than they do alive. Alright, we got another 3D and 2D coming up. This game is just full of skips. We're gonna take this laser and we're gonna shoot it over a trigger coming up here. Very nice. And so now he's playing this 2D section in 3D, and it allows... Having these 3D physics makes those slope jumps go so much higher. And then coming up, we're just going to be able to jump around the wall here and go into the last 3D section of the stage. Very nicely done. A lot of these skips are just like they're like super cool, but they're not like... It sounds like it would make the game really hard, and it kind of is, but like most of these skips don't even save that much time. Like they're all like 5-10 seconds at most skips. Like this one's like around like 5 to 7 seconds, even though it looks like you're skipping a whole lot of the stage.
Shout out to Auraace Sweet Mountain 1 tutorial. It's really good. You should watch it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that nuances to controlling the 3D and 2D physics, because a lot of it you can do without touching the stick at all, because the game kind of lines you up to go along the 2D path. So, but yeah, there is a lot to learn with that skip. My tutorial is 15 minutes long if you want to learn how to do that skip. And as we're talking about that, another skip. This one of the few that isn't a 3D and 2D. You just use the angle of the rail to jump into the background. Now I got Sweet Mountain 3. Sure.
Okay, because we have $14 from Pendle Steven, who says, nice to have half on the BSG Online Marathon in the summertime as well. Oh, sorry, as we call it here. Unfortunately, at the time I donate this, it's still winter time. Thanks everyone for the marathon and good luck.
So this is one of the 2 uses of rocket in the run that I'm pretty sure there's only 2. And this one, rocket normally shoots you up incredibly high and puts you into this free fall state where you can press B to fall faster. And the game does kind of makes it look like you're falling fast because of the animations, but you really fall incredibly slowly when you do those. So the 2 times we use rocket, we use it in a spot where we can actually cancel that. As you saw, Subbaro was able to boost and fall at the normal freeze fall speed immediately afterward, and the same thing will happen in AP3, and I'll talk about that when we get there. So Sweep Mountain 4 is probably one of the least fun stages casually, but it has a really sick skip in it to skip the entire auto-scroller sequence. So we're going to go up top, and we're going to jump over this auto-run trigger that sends you through the loops and collect a laser wisp and just use it to shoot ourselves off towards the end. Very nice. So yeah, there's actually a 3D trigger up there where he jumped over the auto run trigger. Even though that entire stage is supposed to be 2D, for some reason there's a 3D trigger up there that you can use to break out and skip to the end. One of the coolest skips in the run, in my opinion. And now we got Sweep Mountain 5 3D and 2D. Oh right, I didn't mention another new feature in this game is the tail saves. So normally in almost every other game, when you die, you just go back to the last checkpoint. But the tail save feature actually allows you to purposely die, and tails will like put you back very close to where you fell off in certain cases. And we actually use that to our advantage. So another intentional death here to get dropped right here before the loop, and he can just jump to the end here. So that skip, both of those 2 deaths were intentional to get brought back to a later section. And it's nice because this run is timed using the in-game timer that you see in the top left. All those get added up for you by the game in the challenge mode. And while Tails is bringing you back, the timer doesn't move. So those intentional deaths lose a lot less time. And this stage is just hope the Spike Wisp behaves properly, because as we mentioned before, this thing does like to not work. That was pretty good though. Anytime you don't turn the spike around, you're probably doing all right in this level. And here we go into the second boss, and just like every other boss, we're trying to get a wisp here, and this time it's going to be drill. So we're gonna just the drill kills or completes the phase in 1 hit. Normally you're supposed to hit this guy 3 times before he jumps back on the ship, but the drill does it in 1 hit, and the drill actually moves spots for the second hit, so he can't wait down low. He's gonna use a boost off of the cannon to get to where, because it's shot from the higher cannon on the second phase. And so now we're just gonna do the same drill to kill the second phase, and there we go. One of the easier bosses, as long as you know where the drills are. Kind of. He always spawns right above you when you do it, so all you did to do is just do a really quick circle and just go back up and hit him. And now we got the bane of speedrunners' existence, Starlight Carnival. This is every casual player's favorite world and every speedrunner's least favorite world. It's filled with auto-scrollers and annoying skips, so... Yeah, speaking of annoying skips, Starlight Carnival 1 skip. The skip is really dumb, and it saves a lot of time, so we're gonna do it. Oh, first off, I guess I should mention, this is one of the few spots where we actually purposefully empty our boost. So Subbaro purposely has no boost, so we could spam the aerial air dash move, which actually saves a few seconds for this part, because he runs dreadfully slowly. So now here comes the actual skip. So he dodges an auto run trigger, which would prevent you from jumping here. So now he has the ability to jump on this path, and he can jump over the trigger to jump into the ship, jump under the ship, and makes it to the path. Nice. So there's an entire 2D section on that ship that you would have to play. That takes about 25-ish seconds. And you can just jump right to where it would let you off. And it's a pretty tight jump. especially because you can't even see where the path you're landing on is. But Subbaro nails it. And so there's going to be a bit of auto-scrollers here if you got some messages for us.
Absolutely. We would like to remind everybody that aside from BSG events and their own marathons, ESA hosts many other events across Europe, including the British, UK SG, Hackathon, and more. So be sure to drop a follow to see whenever something is. Also, stay tuned with our events by following us on Twitter and Instagram with the handle BSG Marathon. Get a behind the scenes look of the event and stay up to date with the latest news on our marathons, events, and more.
Alright, so now that we're in the ship, we're going to have the only use of the cube wisp in the entire run. So if you like that wisp, there you go. There's your time to see it. It's like a backup for a backup in one other stage, which I don't think Subbaro's going to mess up badly enough to need to use it. So that's probably going to be the only time we're going to see it. It's really slow, and the game just doesn't really force you to use it, so we're just not going to. And that's Starlight Carnival 1, the longest stage of the run by a good bit. Hooray. Starlight Carnival has one of the other really long stages in the run, but we'll get there. Got a few shorter ones first. This stage is this stage is spike management, the level. When you do the spin dashes here, your gauge goes down a lot, but the spin dash is really fast. So we want to spin dash, but we don't want to do it too much. So Subbaro's actually going to play it a little safe here and do one less spin dash to make sure he has enough meter. Still a pretty solid time, though.
I'm a little baby, to be fair.
Yeah, it's really not that much time, but yeah, it's really, starting out, it's like really tricky to make sure that if you try and do a bunch of spin dashes. So this is one of the 2 automated spring levels. So these springs right here, they try their best to follow you, and you normally want to spend as little time on them as you can. If possible, you want to pretty much platforming to make it to get to the other side is faster if you can, but this part there's no platforms to ride, so he's just going to be holding left along it. And I know the casuals tend to hate it, but I think it's really fun to try and do a section that you were supposed to be like a pseudo auto scroller, because the spring can only really move so fast, and just like doing the platforms instead. But unfortunately, this one doesn't have as much cool tech as the one in Aquarium Park. And now we got SC4. The stage is pretty annoying, but this is one of the stages where like any mistake will just snowball things, because these little green balls that shoot out the orbs, it's pretty easy to beat them if you don't make a mistake, but if you get hit, then all of them start shooting and you just lose a bunch of time for nothing. It sucks. And using the wisp here is significantly slower, so we're just gonna do the platforming over the blocks and not break them. Right. Starlight Carnival 5 is the other, like, pretty long auto-scroller level in the stage. Another thing I guess I will mention is that they do a lot of camera work to make it seem like boosting on these paths is faster, but it just isn't. It's just all camera work and stuff, so we're just going to be grabbing boost here to be using later in the level where it actually does save time. I don't know why they chose to do that, but I guess it's for the...
Fun fact, holding forward on this path is faster than holding nothing. That's the fastest way to clear this automated path.
Yeah, I think they probably just made it so that like it was easier to sync the arrow chasers with the level. I don't really know, but yeah, holding forward is the same as boosting. Oh my gosh, what was all that height? All right, so now we're gonna use the hover, and the light dash has a mechanic in this game, or the light dash is the hover's like signature ability, and it's normally used to just like dash along the rings. And because they didn't want the thing to run out mid ring trail, they actually make the meter not go down at all while you're taking the light dash. But for whatever reason, this also applies to the startup of the light dash, even if there are no rings near you. So to make the meter last a long time and to be able to get to do some skips, Subbaro's actually going to be mashing the light dashing when there are no rings around like this. And it's kind of weird. You have to hold the A button while you do it to keep getting the height out of it. So you have to do this like really awkward mash where you have to mash B while holding A. And yeah, everyone has their own technique for it. Some people take their thumb off the analog stick and move it over and do a two-handed mash on the face buttons.
Yeah, I have a PS4 controller. I have a very weird button mapping because of how I played college on the Wii. And what I do is I hold A or jump with my thumb and press boost at the same time.
Interesting. I
all
go
with
overhand.
All with one thumb.
I would not be. That sounds really hard. I know I know a lot of people. A decent amount of people can mash while holding a button with the same finger, and I just can't. Yeah, I go overhand and hold the B button with my middle finger, and then use my index and thumb to mash. But to each their own. All right, so this boss is about making sure you get enough hits with the homing attack, and then also weaving in the laser, because the laser does 16 homing attacks worth of damage. So he has 50 health, but we're going to laser him twice, so we're only going to have to homing attack him 28 times. I think that math works out. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, so you do 10 homing attacks, 9 laser, and it ends up being significantly faster than any other way of doing it. And there is a slight bit of RNG with where the boss decides to move, but it's significantly in the runner's favor, and it doesn't lose that much time. One of the 2 major RNG spots in the run. This run barely has any RNG. And the last is in the final boss, which is really fun. Well, we'll get there. Alright, Planet West. This one was really cool. I'm assuming we're not going to see the skip, but the 2D movement in the stage is also really dope.
Can I mention something really quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, because ladies and gentlemen, we have a 50 euro donation by Kobolski, who says, "Thanks for having me for my first marathon. It was a blast. Good luck to Subbaro and everyone else who will be playing this marathon." Thank you so much for that donation, my friend.
Thank you.
And remember, everybody, that all the money that gets donated to this event is gonna go directly for Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and to support everyone who is dealing with mental issues, themselves or within their family. More information, !Mind in chat, and also !Donate to get a donation link for this amazing cause.
All right, and so we skipped this puzzle, the block puzzle at the end of Planet West 1 by just going backwards underneath, which is clearly intended based on the rings being there, but yeah, Planet West 2 plays significantly less intentionally. We're actually going to do a clip out and use an unused section of Act 2 left over from Act 1, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So let's see if we get it. Nice. And we get the homing attack back in. Very nice. Oh! Subbaro's gonna. So we try and jump off of those spikes to make it to a higher set of platforms in the next section, but Subbaro accidentally got hit twice, and he missed the clip out the second time. That's unfortunate. So Yeah, the spike damage boost is annoying because you have to get hit by one of the earlier spikes and then jump off one of the later ones. And if you do it too early, your iframes are all going to be up and you're going to die. Okay. Yeah, so we're taking the lower path this time. If you get the jump off the spikes, you would land right up here and skip that lower puzzle where you have to go get the switch. But it's pretty hard because the spikes are moving and the spikes are also off screen, so you have to do a blind jump with your limited amount of iframes to skip that part, but it is really cool when you get it. So now we got a pretty cool skip coming up here, which is an Ultimate exclusive skip. Most of the skips that you see here can be done on the Wii, but this one is an Ultimate exclusive one because you have to use the... we're going to use both the tail save feature and the change in the angle of the laser. I'll explain it a little bit more later. But so we die on purpose to get Tails to pull us back here, which breaks us out of the auto run, and it'll actually allow us to angle this laser straight up here. And now we can go straight to the end. Very nice. So in the Wii version, you can only angle the laser like 45 degrees in either direction based on where you're facing. And in Ultimate, you're allowed to do it 360 degrees. I think a lot of players casually in Wii were really annoyed with how strict the angles were on, and so they gave you a bigger range, which ends up making a lot of laser skips either easier or straight up possible when they weren't before. We're gonna see another one of those here actually coming up. We take the lower path on purpose so that we can grab a laser to do a skip, because the upper route would be faster if it had a laser in it, but it doesn't. And so we're gonna and shoot it straight up. On Wii, you would have to bounce it off of a wall, and you get significantly less height because you can't angle it upward. Now I got Planet Wisp 5, which is a stage that benefits a decent amount from the fact that Egg Shuttle lets you carry over boost, so Subbaro gets to load into the stage with a full boost meter and take the top route. You kind of, I feel like, at least in Wii, probably still in Alt, you'd have to take the bottom route just because of how little boost you have. So, and now Planet Wisp 6. We're going to use the rail momentum to hopefully do a cool skip here. Boosting into rails gives you a lot of speed in this game, and we're going to hopefully use that to jump into 2D sections a bit farther in than you're supposed to be able to. So we're going to try and build up some speed here. Boost into this rail and get a pretty good rail launch. And oh, okay. Made it just slightly short of where we were trying to get to and hit the enemy, but luckily he didn't knock us into the pit. That's one of the scariest parts of the run, in my opinion, because it's really hard to see where you're going to land. And if you're landing slightly short where those moving platforms are, you can easily just fall straight through them and die, but Subbaro caught a lucky break. I mean, you're pretty likely to live, but still. And he uses a spike wisp he got from earlier in the stage to just ride up the walls in the last section. The last section is so annoying without the spike. Luckily, very trivial if you do have it. Planet Wisp boss, very similar to Tropical Resort. Also similar in that he spends more time dying than he spends alive. You basically just get the Spike Wisp, and immediately after his iframes are done from hit 1, you're just right in his face and he gets hit again. Pretty funny boss. Now we got Aquarium Park, which is my favorite zone in the run. It's got so many cool movement optimizations and so many cool skips. The coolest skip in my opinion, is the one coming up right here in AP1. Gonna grab this laser and shoot it above the wall of the building here, which will make us out of bounds, and we can then go on the outside of this path. So we're gonna be able to actually jump around the wall here, and now we're in this 2D part in 3D again. which will then allow us to run on the water really fast and jump around. Nice. Lands on that platform, gets some more boost. Very nice. That skip is really clean when you get it. It's so cool. And you get the 3D speed into the ending. Nice. You love to see that. Now AP2, very short stage. Just going to be doing a lot of platforming on these really small platforms, which looks incredibly scary, and to be fair, it is, but we do take advantage of the fact that this is one of the few games that I can think of in the Sonic series where you can actually buffer jumps. So, like, if you stomp on those really small platforms and hold A slightly before you land, Sonic will jump frame 1 upon landing, which makes it a lot easier to make sure that you land on the platform and don't run off. So those small platforming sections in Aquarium Park 2 and 5 are not quite as hard as they look and are super satisfying to do correctly. So Aquarium Park 3 is a stage where we unfortunately have to spend like the entire time underwater. But the top route is incredibly slow, so we're gonna take the low route. And we're gonna use the second and last use of rocket in the run. Oh wait, except for a boss fight. In platforming, this is the last use of rocket. And we're going to bonk into the ceiling to cancel the free fall animation, like I said before, because you can go way up there if you don't bonk your head on that ceiling. It takes ages to come back down. And AP4, I always found it funny in the speedrun that you actually start this level by going backwards. But it skips a little intro to the chaser that will chase you at the end of the stage, but you can just take a tube in the back and skip it. This stage is like such a labyrinth casually. There's so many like crossing pathways and stuff. This level will take you forever if you don't know the right way to go, but the drill pipes are really fast in this stage, so we can get to the auto-scroller part at the end pretty quickly. So this is one of the few, this might be the only case that I can think of where this is a skip that we will do on Wii, but not in Ultimate, because you can skip this chaser sequence, but you can only do it in 30 FPS, which the Wii is, and the 144 FPS skip saves so much time that it's well worth not being able to do this skip. Skipping this chaser sequence saves about 7 seconds over running through it, and you save so much more time than that by doing the 144 exclusive skips that we just played this part. And Subbaro is purposely running out of boost here because we want to be out of boost for Aquarium Park 5. It'll be pretty obvious when we get there, but the boost goes way too fast, and it's so hard to land on the platforms correctly. And also, if you go too far or too fast in this segment, the camera doesn't actually follow you, and you have to do blind platforming, and it's really difficult. This level is already scary enough landing on these little platforms when you can see where they are. Very clean start. I love the start of Act 5. You basically, so this is the second automated spring level, but you barely even use the springs at the start of the stage because you can just use those little small platforms and go faster than even the maximum movement speed of the spring. And now you just get to jam out to the really good music that this game has and stomp to the beat. I love doing this. Can't believe there are some people that don't do this.
Your run is literally invalid on SRC if you don't stop.
Yeah, I'm going to take Deku's run down right now. All right.
Something really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, remake, original. Those are the options that we have for the category Beat War for Katamari Damacy Reroll any percent no boost, around that we're gonna be having in a couple of hours. So right now, original is on the lead with 15 euros, and remake has no donations yet. So you're gonna put your money towards any incentive. You can choose any of these options, and later in the marathon, we're gonna see which is gonna be the winner. Because original is gonna be the category that's gonna be showcased, or remake will make an amazing comeback. Well, that will be defined with your donations. Exclamation mark donate in the chat, and you will get the link that you required to do this.
And we just in time for another major skip here. So we're going to take the hover that Subbaro saved from the last 2D section, go up really high, and he'll go above the invisible wall here to try and trap you in the combat room, land purposely in the water area, which will activate the water physics, and he'll be able to take those water physics straight to the end. This skip is super cool because the game never intends you to be underwater in 3D ever, so they didn't actually make the only way to leave the underwater segments is to go out from under the surface in the little slim 2D part. So if you go around to the outside, you can just keep your infinite jumps and go straight to the end. It's also probably the easiest major skip in the entire run. So if this run seemed cool to you, I definitely recommend giving AP6 a try. It's really fun to control the 3D physics underwater. All right, and here we got basically Sweet Mountain Boss Part 2. We're using drill again, and the way you get the drill is by making the rocket, the white rocket, land on one of these bubbles here. And again, he takes 3 hits from Sonic if you don't have the drill, so it saves a good bit of time. And we're gonna purposefully manip him to spawn in the bottom left corner, because normally he spawns in like semi-random spots, so, and he's really annoying to chase down if you don't kill him like right after he loads into the Spart, but luckily it's possible to make sure that he spawns low and just hit him immediately. Now we got Asteroid Coaster, which after all that might still just be the most broken world in the run. So many cool strats in this zone. Unfortunately, we got a fun roller coaster sequence to start it off, but most of the rest of the stage is really dope. You actually have to go off to the side to get that Whisk Capsule, which, by the way, is the only Whisk Capsule in the entire game you're allowed to homing attack. Don't ask me why you can, because I have no idea, but you can. And you actually whiff if you just try and jump into it. I don't know why either. It works on Wii. But we need that boost, because this stage is really tight on the boost route. Even though it's kind of slow to go out there and homing attack it, it's still worth it. I believe we're going to be going for the 3D and 2D here. Yeah, it looks like we are. Nice. So we're going to go really wide here to go around the 2D trigger. And it allows us to then just jump around the little block puzzle here. Very nice. That block puzzle is kind of annoying, and the 3D physics are always nice to have. Only saves like 3 or 4 seconds, but really cool feeling one. Now we come up to... Everyone makes fun of me for calling this the hardest skip in the run, but in my opinion, this is the hardest skip in the run, especially for how late it is. My nerves get pretty bad when I get to this level on a good pace, but Subbaro's a lot better at this skip than I am, so surely he'll just make it look really easy. So, yeah, we got a little bit of 2D movement coming up first. Very nice, skipping the other blocks there. Gotta make sure to grab the check. start, so it's going to come up right here. We're going to hit the spring up here and use that height to get around the invisible wall. Now we're going to jump around the level and into the 2D section later on. And then boost. Nice. And there we go. Subbaro making it look too easy. That gravity flip at the end is so cool. You just boost, and that part switches you between upward and downward gravity, and if you boost right into it, for whatever reason, it flings you up really high.
I think that was a PB.
AC3, the shortest level in the run. I mean, unfortunately, because Egg Shuttle gives you a boost at the start, you can't count the times you get in the levels towards the leaderboard, because it wouldn't be fair to the people who start the level without the boost. But yeah, sub 4 is really good for that stage. And then this stage is really fun. For whatever reason, in this loop, jumping on the inside ring just is slightly faster than running. So yeah, we just do that and hit the switch that spawns the goal ring. I don't know why they have a switch to spawn the goal ring, but they do. And then this is the only stage, I think, where you spawn a goal ring by killing enemies. I don't know why they decided to do that either, but... So we're gonna go up here, grab the laser, and if we... Alright, yeah, we're just gonna do this, kill the last 2 enemies. You can activate that laser in like a 1 or 2 frame window where it'll kill every enemy, and you won't have to homing attack those 2 guys at the end, but it's really annoying. Alright, here we go, AC6. This might be one of the coolest looking skips in the run, maybe after AC2.
Supersonic speed, yes.
Yes. So that's an asteroid coaster, or that's an Egg Shuttle exclusive skip, because you can't get any boost at the start of the level because you're literally locked to the roller coaster at the very start. But luckily on Egg Shuttle we can just take our boost from Asteroid Coaster 5 and use it to skip to that set of rainbow rings. So now we got the inside section where we're gonna have one of the... This has got to be the biggest skip in the run, right? Yeah, I think so. So we're going to, again, be abusing the 3D underwater physics, where you can jump infinitely, as well as have complete control to just go straight to the end. I'm assuming that's why they just decided that 3D underwater was just a bad idea. You want to clip out using the pogos here, and this is, for whatever reason, way more difficult to do on 144 FPS. One of the few downsides of this frame rate, but... Okay, we're out. I think that should be enough air to make it. Nice. So yeah, one of the hard parts about that clip out is that when it takes so long, you're pretty tight on air to make it. But yeah, he actually goes back after clipping out, grabs the 3D trigger from the free fall section. There's a little bit of the 3D trigger you could hit there to enter 3D, and then when you're 3D underwater, you can just do whatever you want at that point. And we choose whatever we want. We choose go straight to the end. So we go straight to the end. So this boss we have a quick kill for with an AI manip. And so we're just going to... Oh, wait. Oh, but this is the right one, 144. We're just going to body him with the thing. Is this going to work? Nice. So I don't know why in 144 FPS that rocket, if you could just kill him immediately with that rocket. I don't really know why that works.
It's because on 144 you have more frames in the stomp animation, and so you do more stomp damage on the actual hitbox of the boss, and that's more than on 60. So yeah, it's just enough to kill it entirely.
Yeah, on 60 and 30, you have to manip him into dropping the spike balls that he drops in between phases on himself, and then he kills himself like 5 or 6 seconds after Subbaro killed him. But on 144, we got an even faster quick kill. One of the many nice time saves that 144 has. And this is Terminal Velocity. Really, really good music, but slightly less good gameplay. We got these arrow chasers. You basically just run at a constant speed and just don't die. The level. I really like how on this part, if you stay straight in the middle, yeah, if you stay right in the middle lane, these moto bugs will never attack you. They normally in like other stages will switch lanes into you to hit you, but you can literally just sit here and hold down, and they'll just chill with you.
I fixed it in the second part though.
Alright, so this is the part where your time can vary, is the chaser sequence. You actually... How you play this part actually does matter. You're not quite locked to one speed. So we're going to try and do this first part as fast as we can while saving as much boost as possible. Because, well, it'll be obvious why in like 5 seconds. So once this segment starts with the moto bugs, the camera just becomes horrible. Like you can't see the boss that is trying to attack you. And he's shooting these laser beams in 2 of the 3 lanes, and if you don't have enough boost, you would just have to guess which lanes he's shooting at when you can't see. So we just save enough boost that we can stay in front of the lasers the whole time. So that's why it's really important to save boost for the ending. But very clean. And now we got the final boss and the second major RNG point of the run. But only a few of these attacks are RNG. The first few are scripted. We're going to try and get some quick hits here, abusing the perfect homing attack. Nice. So, as I said earlier, the perfect homing attack cancels the cooldown of the homing attack, which allows you to get an extra homing attack in where you're normally supposed to be locked out on Wii. So you're supposed to take, like, 3 extra seconds to land the homing attack hits, because you're supposed to shoot up really high after the first homing attack on his face. But when you're not locked out of doing a homing attack, you can actually just hit him right away. Pretty cool strat. Now when he goes behind, this is the RNG segment. So let's see what we get here. Cubes, that's fine. What is this? Oh, cube spike. That sucks. That's the worst attack he can do. I think he's got 7 attacks and that's the worst one. You hate to see it. Sparrow's been executing this fight really well, though, so probably going to get a pretty decent time anyway. If you get hit, he does an extra attack, so this fight is not just scary, it is more scary because of the potential time loss of getting hit, more than... Like, you're not really scared of dying, you have so many rings, but an extra attack can take quite a while, so it's really scary, especially on these long cube mazes, to make sure you don't get hit. Alright, so there we go, and now we just gotta do the final color showdown or whatever it's called.
It's the final color blaster.
I tried.
Alright, so I need to see the time, the IGT after this. I might be very close to a PP, I'm not sure though.
Yeah, there actually is another stage after the final boss, so get ready on time in about 30 seconds.
It's gonna be so close.
So there's this last segment where you run away from this black hole after you kill the boss. This is like totally scripted, so that's why Subbaro already knows that he's not going to PB, because there's no time to be saved on this level. You just get the time. As long as you don't die, which I don't see him doing.
I bet I'm gonna get a .88. What are you going to say?
86.
86? Oh!
There it is.
Wow.
Alright, that's time, by the way.
Yeah, time, sorry.
GG's.
that was a really good run. That was my best marathon performance so far on this game.
Sub 40 in a marathon is crazy good. That's nuts. What's your PB? Like
39:05. So we're 6 seconds away. So yeah, this is also cool about X Shuttle. You see all those times in here. It's all the level times. But yeah,
X
anyway,
Shuttle was so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
In the quality of life for speedrunners, it's actually insane. They never even it's crazy how they didn't just put this in every game ever. Moving on.
So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Aura, for the awesome commentary, for compensating my part of the commentary so well. Thanks for BSG for giving me the opportunity to play video games for charity, for a good cause. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon.
And also thank you so much for this amazing Sonic Colors run. I have no doubt that everybody has enjoyed this. And well, this is also the end of my hosting shift. Killer Chair is gonna be with us on a little bit with the next game of the mini Sonic vlog, which is gonna be Sonic Classic Trilogy. So please stay tuned and see you, everybody.